Hi, I want to talk about um, waking up to spiders on the wall. Like, for some time now, for the past couple of weeks, I've been waking up to spiders on the wall. Actually, like a really big spider on the wall. Like, it has happened 3 times. I've experienced like the spider thing 3 times, and I finally figured out why I was having the situation with the spider. The first time it happened, it was on the wall right here. Like I got up and I saw a big black spider. Even though my room was dark, I could see a big fat black spider and I jumped. I was terrified because a couple of days ago, actually my roommate had told me that she's seen like little like centipedes or millipedes in her room. She asked me if I was seeing anything, and I said no. So I think I jumped up because I thought maybe there are more than centipedes. So I just got up and I was looking everywhere for that spider. And then I finally realized there probably is no way that that spider is here. Like I looked everywhere because when I looked at the spider, it appeared that it ran down or something. And I looked everywhere and I couldn't see it. And I was like, there is no way something that big is going to be able to hide and I won't see it. So I realized that it was just a figment of my imagination. I wondered what was causing that. So I didn't worry about it and I went to bed. And then about maybe a week or two later, I had the same experience, but this time around the spider was closer to me. Like I got up and it was like on the head of my bed. But this time I just stared at it because I knew it wasn't real. I just stared at the spider until it disappeared. I just stared at it and then my whatever it was I was seeing, hallucinating or whatever, it just disappeared like slowly. It disappeared. I was like, I knew you weren't real. And then I went back to bed. And then about another 2 weeks later, when I was sleeping, I felt like the spider was under my blanket. Like I got up, like when I was waking up, I got up because I felt like something spidery in my leg. It wasn't even like on me. I felt like the spider had gotten in my leg. I felt like it was like Stranger Things situation. I could actually, it was so weird. I swear to God, it was exactly like Stranger Things. I felt like the spider had gotten in my leg, and for a weird reason, I could feel my veins. Like my veins just seemed to be like doing something weird. I felt like I could feel blood in my veins, and I could kind of feel blood in my veins in a weird way. So I got up, but when I got up, and all these times when I wake up, I'm so hot, and I'm thinking like the reason why it was happening. I was like, why is this happening? So I went online and I'm looking, and everybody has all these reasons. Some people are saying it happens to them, but no one is really giving like a reason. And some people are saying like it's um, a spider is an astral. Is that what they call it? Astral spider, and that is because of your energy, and the spider is attracted to your positive energy or whatever it is. I'm like, whatever, that's not going to help me. I need to figure out why I'm having these situations because I believe like my body is trying to tell me something to do with my veins because I was like, the veins in my leg, I could feel it. Like what? So I was trying to go inward and try to ask myself, what is my body trying to tell me? Like, why did I feel my veins like that? I've never felt my veins like that. So I was just like asking myself the whole day, why? What is my body trying to tell me? So that night, like the following night, when before I went to bed, another thing about me is I sleep hot. Like I wake up at night sometimes because I'm too hot and I have to. What I usually do when I'm so hot is I would, while sleeping, I'll kick the blanket off and I'll wake up and the blanket is already off of me. But because I work like 12 to 12 shifts, I'm usually like so exhausted. So I guess like my body is trying to keep me asleep, but there's a part of me that wants to like wake up and kick the blanket off, but that part of me is so exhausted also that it's also asleep. So I think that my body couldn't balance being awake and being asleep. Like I'm so exhausted because I'm working 12 hours and I'm not waking up to do what I normally do. So it had to create something, I don't know, like wake me up like it's an emergency and get me to jump out of bed so I can cool off. That's why I think I was having that. So after that, because my blanket is so thick, but I get really cold before I go to bed. But after I stay under the blanket, I'll get really warm. So what I do is when I go to bed, I just leave my legs exposed. Like I don't put the blanket over my legs because my legs, that's the part where I was feeling like this spidery thing. So after that, now I actually sleep pretty well. Like I just put just the, what do you call it, the cover sheet over my bed, and I put the blanket like from my knees up. I cover up very well, but from my knees down, I just put just the cover sheet over my legs, and I've been sleeping really well. And I wake up in the morning, and I feel like the heat and coolness like just balances up, and I feel very balanced temperature wise. Like my legs, I guess, like to be really cool even though it's winter and I get cold easily, but my legs do not, and even my hands too. Like it's funny because my hands and my legs are the places in my body that get really cold easily, but they also get really warm very easily. So, in my opinion, the spider is like what's a representation of my veins getting really hot. So I needed to like cool off, but I'm so tired that I'm not pushing the blanket off like I've been doing, like I used to do when I was much younger or when I was a child. If I get hot, I'll just push the blanket off of me, but because I'm so exhausted, I'm not pushing the blanket off. So my body's trying to keep me, I guess, alive before something really drastic happens. So I just wake up to the sight of a spider and I jump out of bed to help me to cool off before going back to sleep. So that's my explanation and that's my belief. Like after that, like I've been sleeping so much better. Like I've been sleeping so much better when I move the blanket off of my leg. So that's my understanding for why I've been seeing the spider on the wall. So after I work my 12 to 12 hours shift and I'm so exhausted, I make sure, even when I'm not working, that I just sleep with the blanket off of my leg. That way I cool off or I stay cooler on my legs, not too hot.